Studying for hours but still forgetting everything on your Praxis practice test? Let me show you the note-taking methods that will change the way you study. Hi, I'm Sandra Matthews, and welcome to the Pass Your Praxis channel. In this video, I'm going to share the best note-taking methods for Praxis success. We'll walk through classic strategies, practical tools you can start using today, and even advice from real Praxis test takers who've been through the process. By the end, you'll know exactly how to turn your notes into a powerful study guide. Let's get started. The Praxis exam covers a wide range of subjects, from math and reading to pedagogy and content-specific areas. That means you're dealing with a huge amount of information like formulas, theories, teaching strategies, and key concepts. Without a system to capture and organize all of that, it's easy to get overwhelmed and forget what you studied. It's easy to think you know the material just by rereading the study guide, but then the practice test shows you can't recall it. Note-taking solves that problem by helping your brain actively engage with the information. That's where note-taking comes in. It turns passive reading into active learning and makes the information stick. The first technique is the Cornell method. This method divides your paper into 3 sections: a column on the left for cues or questions, a larger column on the right for notes, and a small section at the bottom for a summary. This system is especially useful for Praxis prep because it builds in review. You can write sample questions on the left, record your answers on the right, and add a summary at the bottom. One test taker said they used it this way and found that reviewing later was much easier. The Cornell method not only keeps your notes organized, but also creates a built-in study guide. The second technique is mind mapping, which is perfect if you are a visual learner. Start with the main idea in the middle of the page and draw branches outward for related concepts. Add examples, subtopics, and connections until you build a web of information. Mind maps work well for broad subjects such as social studies, science, or teaching theories. Some test takers explained that they used mind maps for teaching strategies, and during the exam, they could picture the diagram in their head. Mind mapping helps you remember not only facts, but also the way they connect. If you prefer structure, outlining may be your best choice. Outlining means writing the main topics first, then listing subtopics and details beneath them in order. This is very effective for math and English, where you need to follow clear steps. One Praxis taker explained that outlining kept them from feeling overwhelmed. They said that if they could explain the outline in their own words, they knew they were ready. Outlining is a great way to check your understanding. The fourth technique is charting, or using tables to compare and contrast. This works well for Praxis sections where you need to sort information into categories. You might make a chart for phonics rules, grammar terms, or math formulas. Teachers explained that they created simple charts for phonics and grammar, and that strategy helped them succeed on the multiple choice questions. Organizing information in tables helps your brain notice patterns and differences, which makes recall easier during the test. The fifth technique is called P4QR. This stands for Preview, 4 Questions, and Review. Here's how it works. First, preview the material by skimming headings and summaries. Then ask yourself 4 questions. What is this about? What is the main idea? What details support it? How does it connect to what I already know? Finally, review your answers and your notes to reinforce your memory. Many test takers like this because it's similar to how exam questions are written. One student explained that after every practice test, they wrote down the questions they got wrong and created a short review sheet. Over time, that sheet got smaller as they mastered more material. That is P4QR in action. Traditionally, many Praxis test takers also create what is called a crib sheet. This is a 1-page summary of the most important notes. It is a good tool, but it takes a lot of time to rewrite and organize. The good news is that Study.com can take on this role. Think of Study.com as a digital crib sheet. Each lesson is already condensed into the key points. When you take a practice test, the program highlights your weak spots and links you to lessons that explain them. Over time, it adjusts so you spend more time on what you need and less on what you already know. Instead of writing and rewriting your own sheet, Study.com does it for you and keeps it updated. No matter which method you use, there are a few tips that can make your notes more effective. Keep your notes short and clear. Use your own words instead of copying long passages. Make reviewing a habit. One test taker admitted that the first time they studied, they wrote a lot of notes but never looked at them again. The second time they reviewed their notes every night, and that made the difference. Another teacher shared that after each study session, they wrote down the questions they missed and added the correct answers. This helped them finally understand the material. The lesson here is writing notes is only half the job. Reviewing them and tying them to the practice questions is what makes them powerful. Finally, do not try to capture everything. If you highlight or copy too much, nothing stands out. Focus on the most important ideas, rules, and strategies that are likely to appear on the exam. So, which method is best? The truth is that there is no single answer. The most effective approach is often a mix. You might use Cornell notes for practice questions, mind maps for big concepts, outlines for structured content, charts for comparisons, and P4QR for reading. One test taker said they used different methods for different tasks, and that variety helped them stay focused. That is the real secret. Choose what works for you, and do not be afraid to combine strategies. At the end of the day, the best note-taking technique is the one you will actually use. Whether it is Cornell, mind maps, outlines, charts, or P4QR, the important thing is that your notes help you understand and recall the material. And if you do not want to spend hours condensing notes into a crib sheet, Study.com can serve you as your ready-made version. It gives you lessons, summaries, practice, and targeted review all in one place. Real Praxis test takers have used these methods to go from feeling frustrated to finally passing. If they can do it, so can you. If you found this video helpful, be sure to subscribe and share in the comments which note-taking method you want to try, and check the description for free resources to support your Praxis prep. Thanks for watching, and good luck on your Praxis journey. You can do this.